Okay, back in the saddle again at home up here. I'm gonna talk about some shit, man. And I'm glad that Sister God has mentioned it. I'm glad that she really mentioned it because a lot of these um, black women that divest never mention it. And the whole thing is when they always bring up this concept of they don't want to trauma bond with black men. You know, they don't want to trauma bond with that, which is understandable. Okay, that's cool. But they will bond with white supremacists, white men. They'll bond with, both of them will bond due to the fact that black women and white men both hate black men. And the reasons why, the thing is that white men feel threatened by black men. They always have. And this goes back even during the times, basically during the time of the Moorish conquest. During the Moorish conquest when the Arab and black Moors conquered Spain. This harkens back to those times. So they always had a hatred of black men during slavery. Chattel slavery, white men had a hatred of black men. They have a great hatred of black men, but they had a sexual fetish for black women. And back then, you would have white males that were married, that with the planter class down in the South, a lot of them married black women. And this was a program that they was implementing back then in case slavery ever were to break down. They could always rely on black women to basically be their sidearm against black men in case black men were to ever rise up. They would have black women to side with white supremacy. And you got that to this day. That black women have been actually the perfect weapon to keep black people in a condition that we are today. Because black women, they made sure to keep black women, the single parents, and all that shit. They even though you had black thriving marriages happening in the black community right after during the time of Reconstruction and Jim Crow, you had more black marriages because it wasn't the fact that it was out of love. It's the fact that white black women depended on white black men then. They depended on it. But see, this is what the quiet is kept. And we always told y'all that during that time, during Jim Crow, you would have white men that would go off lynching black, had whole lynching parties going lynching any black man they can find. And then they'll celebrate, and what they will go to a whorehouse that was owned by a white man that had all black women in the whorehouse. They had whole whorehouses during Jim Crow, full of black women that was working in them whorehouses. So normally what happened to those children, those biracial children that were made in them whorehouses? Normally those children would escape north and they would become prominent people because those who could pass, those biracial children, adults can pass, they'll blend into white society and just throw their blackness away to be in white society. And they were the product of white men laying up with black women. That's why you have a lot of the black people having light-skinned cousins and shit like that. Let's be real. let's be real, motherfuckers don't want to deal with this shit because it's kind of painful to think that your great grandma was getting her back blowed out by Brad. But it's the reason why you got white, light skinned relatives in your family. They don't. I know it hurts. It's painful, and you know, motherfuckers hate to see that their great grandma or their grandma, you got light skinned cousins that look biracial, and you trying to wonder, is that your real half brother? Your mama laid up with that white man, and your dad always resented that light skinned child. He had always had resent. He was resentful of that light skinned child, like he knew deep down in his mind that wasn't his child. And you had a lot of that down south. This is why you still had that division between light skin and dark skin that actually comes from the plantation. And that was due to Brad laying up with the biracials, and the biracials put on a pedestal above black people. So when slavery fell, you had a lot of resentment of biracial people, and you had a lot of biracial people getting, most of the light skinned and biracial black people was in the big house. So after any revolt happened in the slave revolt, the first thing that the slaves would do, the field niggas would do, was kill everybody in the house. That including the biracials, their kids and all that shit. They killed everybody. The only exception to that rule was Nat Turner. He was the only exception to that rule. Yes, Nat Turner was biracial. A lot of people don't know that. That's why they was willing to follow Nat Turner into a revolt, because Nat Turner was actually he was actually a privileged slave, and he learned how to read, he learned how to write, but deep down in his heart, he felt something for his black mother. He felt something for his fellow black slaves who were in bondage, who were getting treated badly. He had enough compassion to say, you know what, fuck that. I'm gonna make my people rise up, and we're gonna lead revolts. So that's how you had Nat Turner, this biracial slave, led one of the first revolts, but just one of many, because there was many revolts that happened way before that were squashed after the Seminole Wars. And see, the thing was, with the Seminole Wars, you had blacks and indigenous tag teaming. They want to say they were black indigenous, but I'm not going along with this. We was indigenous black Americans and shit, because I know all about that. And I hate to tell y'all that that's way far from the truth. That is, to be honest, that is revisionist bullshit history. I know y'all niggas don't want to, y'all sound like Dominicans when y'all run around saying this shit. But anyway, talking about, I'm not African, I'm indigenous. Let's give it, you got Negroes running around here looking like sub-Saharan Africans, running around here talking about they indigenous Americans. But that's a whole nother video for another topic, you dig? But yeah, black women, they always operated bonded with white supremacy. And that's why it's easy for black women to side with white women with white men. If you ever notice how divestors and white supremacist males have the same talking points, if you pay attention, they ad hominem attack. If you have a debate with a divestor or a white supremacist male, if you notice, they always gaslight, and they always use ad hominem attacks. And then even when you tell them the truth and you got the receipts backing it up, they'll still try to gaslight you and change the subject. They'll try to change the subject. If you ever listen to every notice and pay attention to every debate that a lot of these divestment swirler and feminist women talk, they sound just like white supremacists. That's why white supremacists and black women get along so well. It's funny, because take Cynthia G. Cynthia G talk all this shit about black men, but yet she says she don't date black men and white men, but she only date black men. I'm wondering what black men to date her ass. That's what I was trying to figure out. If you got that much misogyny against black men, what motherfucker woman, what guy would date her? What black guy would date her? And see, and that's a whole nother video right there on her ass. Because when she said she still date black men, but you know, you had whole women on her panel talking about aborting black male kids, black male infants in the womb. So when I got on there, I said, how about this? How about y'all just not mess with black men, period? Leave black men alone. And they got it to, well, see, we still, see, no. Just leave black men alone, period. That's why I said I'd rather for a black woman to be a straight divester and go over the fence than sit up there and say they're going to abort a child in the womb because he's a black male. Just go and get you a white man. And the thing is, those group of black women, they do that shit, but they still want black men sexually. Which it's weird because they don't like black men, but they like having sex with black men. Instead of them just going over the fence getting with Brad. For some reason they hate black men, but they love having sex with black men. That's Cynthia G. She like the sexual aspects of black men. That's why she fucking Robin Perkins. Then you had Robin Perkins sitting up there talking shit about the same thing, divestment movement. I was like, nigga, shut up. Because I said, you the reason why a lot of these black women doing the shit they doing, saying what they doing. Nigga, you the reason why, even though really they use you, niggas like you, Future and many other, Shorty Low, y'all the niggas that they use to put paste our faces on. They paste y'all nigga faces on us. The Futures, the Shorty Lows, the Nick Cannons, they paste y'all pictures, the Robin Perkins, niggas like y'all, the Nick Cannons, the niggas like y'all, they paste their face on black men, on regular black men. You know, we already broke down them stats that you have way more black women that have children out of wedlock than black men. These are stats, facts by the CDC. Even media, man, SARS Willie Pete, Red Supreme, Hardcore Tito pulled this shit up. So you got majority of black women who outnumber black men 10-1, got children out of wedlock. And for years, they always blamed it on black men, even from Charlie Kirk, this white supremacist. This what they missed. See, what they forgot, the CDC also brought out another report. With that report, they showed that black women have more children interracially out of wedlock by non-black men than by black men. So that means black women, not only are they sharing Pookies and Ray Rays, 10 black women are sharing Pookies and Ray Rays. You got 20 black women sharing Brad, Chad, Manuel Gonzalez, Mohammed Abu Bakari at the Arab store. They sharing them too. That's why I had told my ex-wife, she was sitting up there telling me that Arab dude and those biracial kids by that Arab dude, she married to him, but I ain't see no ring on her finger. All I see was she up there, back there with the biracial babies up on his lap. Then all of a sudden that dude, I asked him, was he Muslim? No, I am not the Muslim. A year later, that dude left. You dig? And he came back with his Muslim wife wearing a hijab. And I said, I thought you was Christian. And he didn't say shit. He up there with his Arab wife and his Arab kids. You didn't see that Keisha nowhere around there. Nowhere around there. So what that tells you, black women, a lot of them are laying up with non-black men. And I told Sarge, you can't get around that. I don't care. You gotta put that. You gotta accept that. Put that in, because he was trying Sarge. In a way, Sarge be trying to. In a way, he be trying to motherfucker cape for these chicks. And I told him, you can't do that, Sarge. Either you be 100% black pill or not. That's why General Tito was roasting that. And I don't think General Tito was roasting him that he didn't like Sarge. No, he was roasting him because Sarge be tripping sometimes. That should be over Sarge's head. And I told Sarge that. I said, Sarge, man, you ain't seeing what it is. I don't know how many times I got to send you links to Only Logical Channel. Only Logical Channel. I said at that point of coming to the table, but a lot of these black women, it's a waste of time if they ain't on the mindset of a Chad Sharday or Danica or Crimson Cure and shit, 60 Goddess, even 60 Goddess, or hell, even motherfucking Exotico United. If they ain't on that, if she a male, she says, I'm not male centered. I'm just for women in general empowerment, what you call a pretty girl or ambiguous women club. Cool, whatever. But like I said, even with them, the divestors go back and forth with them because the divestors, that's why the divestors will deal with all the shit with white men. They'll deal with the abuse. They'll sit up there like the chick, the Nigerian chick, will sit up there paying what Sir Milky Way, as General Tito call him Sir Milky Way. They'll sit up there and pay that white boy, and they be doing that to all these white boys. Shit, I mean, I believe General Hardcore Tito when he said a white dude, this black chick bought a white dude 2 motherfucking monsters or whatever, had them hooked up, souped up, and he used to come in with J's every day. That black woman was providing for their bread. And like I said, they'll provide for their white man when their relationship don't work, because that white guy that they're with is a loser. Becky like, I ain't getting with him. You can have him. Keisha get with him and turn him into the black wife effect. So they'll get with this white guy knowing clearly he's a loser. Get his hair done up to look like Robin Thicke, hook him up, make him look, basically like you take an old school whip that's in a junkyard and you take it and throw the candy paint, throw some rims, get some flush interior, hook it up, throw a system in the back. Well, black women do the same thing with dusted and busted white men. They do the same thing. You have black women up there with fucking old ass geriatrics club white men, and I ain't even just talking about Keoki, Russell Simmons' daughter. I'm like looking at that shit. She got a white man up there. This motherfucker in geriatrics. I said either he doing a lot of shit to her, or that motherfucker taking some super Viagra, beating her back, beating it up. But either way it goes, when she was up there crying over this old ass white man, I was cringe. I said any nigga that get with her, man, ugh. Any nigga that get with Keoki, Russell Simmons' daughter, you get with her, I'm like, ugh. You get with her? That's just how a motherfucker gonna look at that. If any brother get up there and simp her after all that shit, after begging that white man, fine as her ass is, and I'll give her that. Fine as her ass is, You up there simping for this old geriatrics club white man who motherfucker roll around with an oxygen tank on the gas on the motherfucking golf course. 1 foot in the grave and you crying over there. I'm like, Russell Simmons, man, they should have deleted your seeds before they came out. I'm just keeping it up. Shit. I said, you don't even see motherfucking his brother Ron kid daughters going out like that. Which I think they're way more attractive anyway than Russell Simmons' daughters. They just really not that attractive. People think, oh, because they blaze now. Sometimes those mixes don't work out as good. Even with black women, white, biracial, if you mix between white and black, sometimes those mixes don't work out as good. Because I always destroy their image of they think, oh, I'm biracial, so I'm this and that. No, bitch, you don't look that good. I said, I seen black, dark-skinned, chocolate-ass sisters put you to shame. And see, that's the thing. I ain't even shitting on biracials and light-skinned, but I'm just saying, you get some of them biracial light-skinned chicks that put themselves on this high pedestal, you kick that damn pedestal off from up under there. Say, bitch, you is really not that high. You niggas just got colorism problems. And I ain't even shitting on light-skinned and biracial women. I'm just saying you got a lot of them exalt themselves like a motherfucker, and they'll sit up there, and I'm glad Source Willie P did call that shit out, where they try to play two ends against the middle. 1 minute, oh, I'm biracial, I love being biracial and light-skinned. But when it's time to get put on their goddamn pedestal as the standard of black beauty, they knocking the Kenya Moore looking black chick off and getting up on the top. It's me, bitch. I'm the standard. They'll take their standard like a motherfucker. It's like almost like light skinned dudes. I don't got nothing against light skinned brothers, but a lot of them be in their feelings, and this is why you had that gender dynamic in our community, because white light skinned dudes are seen as effeminate. Even though it's both, you got dark skinned effeminate niggas and you got light skinned effeminate niggas. But for some reason, the light skinned niggas get their image of being effeminate. So they got to go ultra full masculine. They got to go ultra masculine to prove that they manhood, and due to the station in life that they got as being a biracial class. And then normally white people take them in and accept them because they are the safe Negro. They don't look as intimidating as darker skinned black people, whether they men or women. And they say, okay, we'll take the biracials. All the light skinned niggas, they more pleasing, and they don't look too aggressive. Like, for instance, and I seen this played out, while you'll have white dudes challenge a light skinned and biracial nigga way quicker than they will challenge a dark skinned nigga. And y'all know this is true. I seen this shit play out where you'll have a white dude. He won't fuck with the nigga that's dark skinned and tall, but he'll fuck with the light skinned nigga. He'll fuck with the light skinned nigga because I'm just keeping it 100. They don't see y'all intimidating enough. That's why you'll have white dudes that challenge a light skinned nigga quicker than they will a dark skinned dude, because y'all don't look so intimidating. But sometimes that's where they fuck up at. Because you have some light-skinned niggas that put in some work on some motherfuckers. Real talk. And because they light-skinned, they got to go even out hard in the paint because they light-skinned. You a light-skinned brother. You got to go. I understand that you got to go hard in the paint, because you be challenged all the time. No matter if it's a white dude challenging you or if it's a dark skinned nigga challenging you. You gotta go hard in the paint. That's why you'll have a lot of these light skinned niggas be up there with that'll double. If a nigga say something to them, a dark skinned nigga, normally they'll circle, they'll motherfucker, what they call that, circle around the block, come back and motherfucker shoot your ass quicker than the dark skinned nigga would. Because they already, they manhood is at a premium as a light skinned or biracial dude. So, they gotta let you know, nigga, look here, nigga, just because I'm light skinned or biracial, nigga, don't mean, nigga, I won't let these bullets fly on you, nigga. So yeah, light skinned dude, I'm just keeping it real. They gotta be like ultra masculine, hyper masculinity. It's the part where they try to sit up there, the light skinned niggas that talk that shit. They'll say, well, because these black niggas in the hood, dark skinned niggas in the hood. I like, nah, nigga, it's some of y'all niggas. I said it's both. I said because the black, the white, the light skinned niggas, the biracial niggas, trying to prove the fact, nigga, that they ain't no bitch ass nigga, and they will let them motherfuckers do. They'll let their Draco fly on your ass. They got light skinned niggas gotta navigate different in black society because they getting challenged not only by white supremacy of challenging them because they don't look as aggressive. So now they gotta prove the white dudes I ain't shit to fuck with, prove the dark skinned dudes that they ain't shit to fuck with. So I understand the position of light skinned niggas. Light skinned bitches, they be on some other shit though. They be on some other shit. Because, like I said, they'll run with that. I'll put it. I ain't trying to knock light skinned and biracial sisters. Don't get me wrong. But some of y'all be on some shit, and I see it. I see it. Y'all will put yourselves, talk all that, oh, I'm biracial, this and that, I love this and that. But when it's time to be black on that, get that black standard, that black card, and be the standard of beauty in the black community, y'all run with that goddamn trophy and take it. And then y'all be automatically black. It ain't no different than the tether class. The tethers do that shit. They hate black people, or black FBA black people, but culturally they know our culture dominant around the world, so they want to be a part of it. And sometimes they try to co-opt it. Like with the tethers, the Nigerians and shit. Like his videos, you got African niggas up there dressing like black niggas up there, just look more dusty. They be looking dusty in the motherfucker. I ain't gonna lie, man. They up there with, I ain't even trying to roast them, but they be looking, do Africans be cosplaying as black Americans over there in Nigeria, had a little limp, lean walk and shit, and they think that's how all niggas act in the United States. They literally think that's how black dudes act in the United States. Africans, they think that's how all black dudes run around with a fitted cap on, new fitted cap, with some Timbos on, or some Air Force Ones on. Sometimes majority of them can't have them on, so they have them flip-flops, and shit, and they be up there walking. Like, I be seeing them with old, the bold baggy jeans and shit. Niggas don't even wear baggy jeans up here no more. Niggas don't even be rocking them jeans, but you be seeing them Africans over there in Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, dust all everywhere. They up there, listen to 50 Cent song, I'm up here cracking up looking at this shit. They literally think that's how black American men act. And that's the image that the media give them over there of us, like, oh, we lazy, we thugs, we hang on the block and shit like that. And that's why you got them Nigerians and other Africans come over here and act like, think that that's how we act. And you had that in the Somali community up there in Minnesota, where you got them. Now, I'm just saying, they'll come over here on shit, but that's why you got them Somali gangs. And then come to find out, some of them motherfuckers, they repping GDs and motherfucking vice lords. I'm like, how the fuck you a GD, nigga? You a Somali. I be looking at them niggas up there in Minnesota, and some of them, they been living in America. So after a while, if you living in America, even if you're a Somali, Nigerian, you pick up a black accent, black American accent. So you don't know that, nigga. Like I tell people, you got black Americans that look like Horn Africans. with big foreheads and shit. That's why with Tariq Nasheed be saying, I said, no, you really can't do that because you got some black Americans that don't have C4 hair. Shit, my dad didn't have that texture hair. And my dad was light skinned. My dad had keen features. My dad have keen features, you know. But nevertheless, you have motherfuckers, man, actually literally in Africa thinking that's how black people operate. You know, and then on top of that, they think another thing too, the black women, like the black women over there, they think the black women bleaching their skin, not knowing that black due to white men laying up with black women, niggas come in all shades of colors. That's why I said this whole, I told Sarge when he was talking about reorganizing the race, I said, how the fuck you gonna do that? I said, cause you in every family, you got light-skinned niggas that's black, that's not mixed, but they just look like they mixed. Then you got actually mixed people, biracial people in most black families. Then you got dark-skinned niggas in black people family look like they straight from Ghana and Senegal or West Africa. Then you got niggas that look like me. So you got a mixture of niggas in the black community that her differ just in our community. That her texture different, skin, complexions, features different, all that just in our families. So that's why I said it'd be that's why in a way our situation, our ethnic group is different from Africans due to the fact that we got indigenous American admixture, we got European admixture, and then we got African. That's why black people in all these shades of colors, you got black people that have not indigenous American features, which I'm getting tired of these pretendians and shit up here running around talking, we was here before the red Indians, red Indians were here. I'm like, stop, just stop. Okay, stop. The truth is, you had the 5 civilized tribes land just like the white man laying up with black women. Some of them black women were descendants, had children, were descendants of them tribes, and they gave them full citizenship due to the fact that they were the children of those planter class, indigenous Choctaw, Chickasaw, Cherokee. They made them their children. They gave their children their lineage. So that's why you have black indigenous population here in the United States, not because they were already here. Now people want to say, well, Mansa Musa came to his nephews, Muhammad Abu Nur, and all of them came to the Caribbean, but that's the Caribbean, not the Americas, not North America. That's the Caribbean, Central America. Yes, I believe that you had Africans that came over here possibly thousands of years ago, and they intermarried with the Africans. But for us on America just being completely black indigenous, and you get the Siberians that came over, no, I don't believe that. I believe those copper tone Native Americans with the long brown flowing hair, I believe they've been here. They broke off thousands of years ago, came over, and maybe even some places like down in South America, they intermingle with Polynesian. Like down in Peru and shit, they ain't gonna tell y'all, well, they know some other indigenous Americans have not only indigenous American, but they have Polynesian due to the fact that Polynesians were making land whole in motherfucking South America on the Pacific side. Then another thing they finding out the Chinese came over in the Pacific area with their ships. And see, like I told people, there's always have been trade between Africa and the Americas. So yeah, this is probably how you got them Olmec heads down there. This is how all this in the realm of possibilities. There's not no far-fetched revisionist history when you got proof of this shit. But anyway, damn, I got off subject. Wait, let me get back on subject. Yeah, black women, man, they'll get with these busted and dusty brads and put them white dudes on a pedestal like a motherfucker. And they don't have to come with nothing because for a long time, all they ever said that black men were dusty, musty, can't provide, can't do this, can't do that. So that's why they had to, even now, they'll tell you they had to get them a white man. They had to, when we all know that whole bullshit narrative that Christian encouragement talking about ain't no eligible black men is not enough that can go around bullshit. The thing is that what black women were looking for, they looking for niggas making over, these white collar dudes is making over six figures. That's tall, that's muscular, they got money, driving Ferrari and living in a damn mansion by itself. Because black women use that. Even if you driving like hardcore Tito said. And Sarge said this. He got a friend that got a friend that because Sarge would be a doctor. He said he got a friend that's a multimillionaire, got luxury cars. And when he was talking to black women, they'll snub him. They'll snub him because they don't want black women feel, oh, this nigga don't got no money, he a nigga, he black. Same mindset that a white man think. So when he was leaving and a black chick was up there, she was trying to get with the white dudes who wouldn't give her no play. She seen her brother walk out, hopped off into that Lamborghini Gallardo. All of a sudden, her whole demeanor changed. Like I said, those chicks they'll talk all this shit about divesting and swirling and say, think you dusty, wait till your way. And then when you turn them down, you reject them. All of a sudden now you back being dusty again. You broke anyway, driving around in that car and living in a motherfucking apartment. Now you still broke and dusty, even though you got way more money than them. It's the whole fact that they got shot down. That's why you had all those black women on that panel with that white nationalists talking shit about black men, because you know why? Those black chicks tried to do the reach back with eligible black men, and them black men knew that they were divestors. And they said, no, I decline. Black women like white men, what? If you ever pay attention, I ain't saying black women, divestors and white supremacists, white men do not like the word no. They don't like rejection. They don't like taking accountability. They project a lot. That's why white supremacists, white men, and divestors get along so well. But the only downside to their relationship is Brad, that white man, doesn't see any value in you whatsoever. And he will never give y'all black women that. Because you know why? I'm going to tell you why that white man won't give y'all that. You can't give him by white children. You can give them biracial children. Or you might can give them biracial children that can pass for a while. But overall, you can't give them white children. You can't give them, you a black woman with a biracial child that's passing. They ain't no good for him. They ain't no good for him because you gotta still look at your nigga ass family. When he go over your house with them biracial kids, he gotta look at all these niggas who he despise. He don't want to see them. That's the truth. That's why when you a black woman, you go over there to the white family, and they ain't gonna some come out and say how racist them white families are, and they'll save face. They'll save face like a motherfucker. And like Sarge Willie P said, what you have, these black women that get with white men, they suffer in silence as they get nigga jokes be said about them, all kind of racial epithets and shit. And then you pose as a black woman, you deal with it because you the weaker sex. Whereas Tyrone with Becky, they ain't gonna do that. You got a 6'3" Tyrone, 6'4" Tyrone, 280 pounds motherfucker, looking like what? Looking like motherfucking Tyrese. Nigga on motherfucker. They ain't gonna say shit about him. They ain't gonna say shit about him. But if they say something, he ain't gonna come back. He ain't gonna fuck with them. And Becky gonna follow the lead of that man. That's the difference. Becky get with Tyrone. She gonna follow the lead of that man. That's why black women, white women, when they go over the fence, they really ostracize it. They taking a chance being with they taking a chance with being with Tyrone. Black women take white women taking a chance being more so with Tyrone than you, Brad, being with you, because they can always say, well, hey man, you still messing with you still slumming with that black girl? Oh man, I ain't with her. I got remarried to Becky. Oh, okay, I thought you were still with that nigga. She was kind of hot though. You know, I wouldn't have married her, but you know, I'll do what you did with her. See what I'm saying? That's how they look at black women. So Brad got that luxury to say, well, you know, it was just something to do, you know, something to do with the little black girl, you know, something to do. That's how the white men look at y'all like that. See, Becky don't have the luxury because Becky, she's a woman, she's the weaker sex. So when she go over there with Brad, if she ain't no poor white trash from the trailer park, what particularly white men really don't care about, or some big back Becky, they don't care about. They don't care about Tyrone being with big back Becky. They like, oh shit, they can have her. You know, shit, they be up there celebrating that shit with a big back Becky. Go over there and be with Tyrone. They celebrate that shit. Just like, you know, Dusty and Busted Brad. Becky don't have see them with Keisha. They don't. They like whatever. I didn't want them anyway. See, that shit works both ways. See, and it's just like the black chicks that were on that panel with this white nationalist, and they missed that shit too. They missed that whole shit right over their head because he was basically trying to see if he could get these black women to get back with their men, so y'all can stop, so the white women can stop going over there to Tyrone. Y'all missed their whole panel. I'll sit up there and listen to the whole thing from start to bottom, and I just said, huh, interesting. So you got this Brad that literally tried to talk sense into asking these black women why they don't like Tyrone, and they gave all these reasons that he this and that dysfunction, this and that, knowing they the only ones that created them dysfunctional niggas. That's the fucked up thing. They don't want to claim their creation. It's just like the whole idea of the black community is led by mostly single women, and black women run with that shit. They run with that. We the backbone of the black community. They only if that black community looking good. But if that black community being niggas shooting each other, doing all kinds of shit, they don't want to claim that. So, oh no, I don't want to claim Blackistan. They do not want to claim the hood like that. They don't want to claim it. They don't want to claim that dysfunction that is created from single black women. You get effeminate boys, and you get motherfucking masculine women. It's a byproduct of a single mama household. You know, that's why you have a community. You take the males out, and you leave that community at its own devices, and you have the lack of resources, not mirroring swords with a peak, but yes, you have a community that lack the resources, that lack gainful employment, that lack opportunities, and you take the father out where he don't got no drugs or hopes of um, maintaining the family, So you throw in what, the welfare, you throw in the food stamps, all the Section 8, and you tell the black women that you don't need this nigga, you independent, strong black woman, you can do it on your own, and you don't need them Nikers, period. So those black women run with that shit. And they tell they any black sons they have, if he don't do well and he fall in the cracks, he just fall in the cracks. But the daughters, they urge the daughters always to do good. And I see this out my sisters, especially my sisters. I see this out of her son, cause I'm like, he falling in the cracks. That's why I said I gotta step up to the plate for them boys. And she was married in a whole relationship with a black man, all 8 children. But I see the boys, they ain't getting the guidance. Even if they got a father there, they ain't getting the guidance. This is where a man like me step in. It's just like you have black women, like I run into a lot of black women that are widows, that have, they're single mamas, they had husbands, and their husbands passed away. I said, that's a different dynamic. I tell them, they say, well, how is that? I said, her being a single mama. I said, no, that's a different dynamic. If she was married to that man and that her husband died or was deceased, I mean, on that structure right there, she had a structure. That boy had a structure, but shit didn't work out the way it happened, it's not like a divorce. He's deleted or died. So that urge right there, if you run into that situation where a woman is a widow, that's different. And that's completely different than you getting with a black woman that got multiple kids by different niggas. You got a woman that's a widow, and she has basically a toddler. You can guide that boy and mold it like he's your son because he doesn't have a father. His father's gone. Therefore, you give it that woman, you slide in, then you could take that on. But most men don't want to take on children that's not theirs, and you can't blame them for that. No man want to take children that's not theirs. Whether they white or black, no man. You don't see that's why white men, they are oxymoron like a motherfucker. Because one minute they'll talk about how black men are deadbeats, but yet they'll say, well, black men that take all the single mamas and stuff. So that's why. I said, well, which one is true or not? Black men are deadbeat or they not? And see, that's how you jam these white men up. Considering them, white men are the biggest bastard makers on the planet. That project a lot of their sexual deviancy and behavior, pathological behavior on black men. They project a lot of this shit because they want to have this squeaky clean image, and that's why they go gung ho with this evangelical Christianity and shit, but without the empathetic part to it. That's why when white people come to me talking about religion and shit like that, about Christian religion, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear nothing from them. When white people come to me and say, you believe in Jesus Christ? Like, get the fuck out of my face. And they be like, what I do? Because I don't want to hear nothing coming from your mouth, from you about no doggone religion, when you the motherfucker took their religion and enslaved motherfuckers with it. I don't want to hear it. And then, on top of that, change the image. The image of Jesus. You gonna give us this white peckerwood ass Jesus with blonde flowing hair looking like a hippie. You gonna take away the real Jesus, how he real look, even though me personally, all that shit plagiarized. But you gonna take the real historical image and change that, and when somebody revealed that shit, that's revisionist woke, that's woke revisionist history. You see what I'm saying? But I digress.